this being National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. We have Tor Parker and Tammy Bacigalupo in studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for talking with us here this morning on this tough subject to talk about, but important to get the information out there, not only to any students who may be listening right now, but the parents of students in our community. Tor, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you became intertwined with this subject.
I am from the Makah Reservation in Neah Bay, Washington, and I was a victim of domestic violence for over 20 years. And having gotten out of that, I felt it was very important. My upbringing is very important to me. My culture is very important. I was always taught you give back. We were taught not to take from people, but to give back. And so it was hard for me to take the help. But I finally got out, and with the help of Healthy Families of Clallam County, they put me into shelter, got me out, and I always vowed I would pay it back. And so I became an advocate after a lot of counseling for complex PTSD. I got a lot of counseling, and then got into the field with Jefferson County Dove House Advocacy Services, and then went to Clallam County to pay back and volunteered for them and then worked for them. And then Skokomish is a spiritual home for me, so it was another way to pay back for what they had done for one of my children spiritually.
Wow.
And I wanted to pay them back and do for the community. My grandmother taught, wherever we walk, that is your community. Make sure you leave it better than what you found it. So every day I find it important to do that any way I can. I'll help anybody.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be domestic violence or sexual assault, but I'll help anybody. So.
And Tammy, you work with Turning Point, and tell us a little bit of your journey and how you got to where we are today.
Okay, so my story is a little similar to Tor. Actually, Turning Point saved my life 3 years ago. My daughter and I stayed there after I got into a very abusive relationship, and I just wanted better for my daughter. She's 4. While I was there, I was trying to finish my degree for my associates in human services, and I was able to do my practicum there. Honestly, I didn't feel like I could do advocacy prior to that, but it was very empowering doing my practicum, and then I graduated with that, and I came on through the WorkSource WOOX program. I started as an advocate. I was an advocate for about a year, and I've been now prevention education specialist for about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So talk to me, us a little bit about this month, National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. We had some facts in there now. Over the years, as the internet and social media has come about, how has the landscape of this changed, and is it a lot more, does it appear to be more prevalent now because of social media? And then two, does social media have any ways that it's actually helping to get the word out?
I feel social media is helping to get the word out because most youth are on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat. I'm actually learning more about Snapchat and Instagram. It's not something I had back when I was younger.
Right.
And then for Tor,
I find them to be just as dangerous as they are helpful. We got notice, I believe it was about a week ago, that youth are using Snapchat as a way for sexting and don't realize the dangers of it. And we have victims that are preyed upon through Snapchat. And so we're trying to educate on digital safety.
Sure.
And we visit, in Skokomish, we visit the Youth Council each month. And then during the summer months, they have the Summer Youth Employment Program, the internship, and they travel around the community doing jobs. And we meet with them there in safety plan. But we're always doing digital safety, safety on media, the laws around it, a lot of what they can do. They're unknowingly breaking laws if they take pictures, change them, with Photoshop, things like that, and then send them out. That's illegal to do without their
wow.
permission. So we're teaching them about these things. Get permission before you share anything. And it's teaching boundaries. And I think social media, while it's great, it really blurs boundaries, the social boundaries for youth. So the younger we work with them and the younger we teach them, the more comfortable they are. With my own grandchildren, they're not told, give Gran a hug before she goes, give her a kiss before she goes. It's, hey, Gran's leaving, say goodbye. And then whatever level they're comfortable at, that's the level that we interact. My grandson's too cool now. He's almost 8. So he doesn't like to hug or kiss.
Right.
And that's great. You know, I allow him that and don't force them into any physical contact and let them have their little bubble, whatever they're comfortable with.
Interesting.
Are you finding the type of violence because of social media different with teenagers? Is it, I would imagine, perhaps more psychological and stalking in nature as opposed to, I mean, it used to be like when I was a kid, the bully would come up to your face and harass you. They didn't have the internet to hide behind, and the internet makes people very, very brave. But are you finding with today's youth, it's more like psychological, it's kind of the peer pressure element of it than the physical violence? Is it more emotional? What are you seeing with teens today?
It's an added danger. It's very much an added danger. Whereas, like, same thing, when I was in high school, I went to Tumwater High School, and I was one of the very few brown kids there, and it was not cool back then. And I would get swung around by my hair and called squaw all the time.
Gosh.
And it was very, like you're saying, it was in my face. Back then we dealt with it very differently. But following that, I didn't have people writing me notes. I didn't have any other way for people to contact me. It was a landline, and that was that, and nobody had my phone number. There was no way for anybody to get my phone number. And today, it's as easy as, like you're saying, you can just go find them online and bully and harass them, and through a cell phone. And there was
another humiliated in front of thousands of people. Yeah.
Yes, and recently there was a girlfriend who convinced her boyfriend to commit suicide. She was recently sentenced because of that. Things like that you don't realize. You might think that you're joking, you're not. And then the added element of, we want to do this to put it on social media. People are more concerned about recording it and posting it somewhere than they are actually helping sometimes. And people will do it just so they can post it. People are doing dumb things sometimes.
Tammy, what are some ways that parents can be a little more cognizant of what either kids' apps? Now, you mentioned Snapchat, which is a kind of very unfamiliar for many adults on how it works and the interface there, but a lot of kids have Snapchat accounts and Instagram, and it kind of comes with the deal now, apparently. But when parents are looking, and I would imagine should be looking at their kids' phones on a regular basis, what are some things that they should be kind of keying in on and looking for that may be warning signs that either one half of a relationship is possibly going down, where there could be domestic violence or teen dating violence?
So I think it's really important to remember that kids are human too, and asking questions without your own agenda, just to check in to see how they're doing, making sure you're listening to them, and then when you're and then staying connected. Those are 3 important parts, and then paying attention to, especially if they're on social media, if they're constantly having to update to their partner, if they are worried about posting pictures of them wearing certain things. It's all about power and control. So one person exerts more power than the other. It could be like they could be, withdrawing from friends that they used to hang out with, or just isolating themselves.
Are there ways that teens, students going through either any of the school districts in any school districts, what are some good ways that they can reach out and ask for help? Is there channels on social media that people can connect with? Is it going to the school counselor? Is it going to someone outside the school system? What are the best ways that if a student feels as though they are whether they know it or not, but they're in the middle of a relationship and there is psychological or physical abuse happening, where can they go?
So there's an awesome website called loveisrespect.org. They could chat online there. They could text love is to 22522, or they could call their hotline number. It's dedicated just to teens.
Okay.
They could call down to Turning Point, and they could talk to whoever is available to talk and ask questions, even if they don't know if they're in a situation. So my hopes are starting next year that I'll be able to be in more schools, and we're talking about maybe training the counselors to be more aware of signs of sexual assault and domestic violence. So that's something that we're working on.
It's a very big topic that we're trying to talk with you a little bit about today, and these can warrant further conversations for sure throughout the rest of the year, but very excited and happy to have Tor Parker on talking about this, as well Tammy Bacigalupo here as well this morning. Again, throughout the month of February, it is National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And again, the definition of teen dating violence: physical, sexual, psychological, or emotional violence within a dating relationship. And that could include a stalker. Is there a lot of now with people being able to follow Instagram accounts and people follow photos of folks maybe without even really knowing them? Is stalking even more of an issue now because of what we're seeing online?
Yes. It is. And then because you can also make fake accounts, and so you don't even know if a person who's stalking it is really that person with the account. They could be making several different accounts, because if you become aware of the situation, then you obviously can block them and do other measures, but then they just make another account. And it's really important to pay attention when youth are posting pictures. Predators and perpetrators, they pay attention to the background, especially if you're at a park. Oh, we know that park. So now they know, oh, I can go maybe hang out at this park and wait to see this person.
Wow.
So it makes it really dangerous.
We tell kids, we just went to youth council for teen dating violence awareness and did a lot of dating violence, stalking, and safety around that. And it goes for anybody. If you're traveling, don't post pictures of yourself in a moment. Post them later after your trip. For one, not only is it allowing somebody to stalk you, but other people who are thieves will actually recognize you're not home, will go wipe their house out while they're gone. But for youth, it's be careful what you're posting. Know that even with Snapchat's attractive to children because their parents aren't on it. They believe that everything disappears after 24 hours. Not true. A digital print lasts forever.
Yeah, everything's out there somewhere.
Yes, it is. And it will last a lifetime, even though they don't think it will. You can screenshot them and pass it forward from there, so it's not really going away. Once you screenshot it, it's in your phone, and you can do whatever you want with it from there.
Wow.
So safety of, be careful what you're posting, think, and which is hard for a youth to do, but think what you want to be when you grow up. Think about your future and think, is this going to matter in 5 years, in 10 years? And I say exactly that. Think when you're posting online how it's going to be seen by others, not, I look really cute in this moment, that's great. But, you know, like Tammy said, be aware of your background. Be aware of letting somebody know where you are in that moment.
Tor, Tammy, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us.
You're welcome.
Thank